Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you guys are doing well today. Looks like that is finished. Well, sorry guys, I'm just setting up a backup here. It takes a while to back up things. I still gotta get through stuff. It looks like it's doing fine. Yep, that's excellent. Should do a quick volume test here because I'm still a noob and haven't. Fine. Yep, that's excellent. Should do a quick volume. Alright, volume is good. So, what I did, I think I just finished off some stuff that we were working on last time. I think we were working on the AI, right? Yeah, I just confirmed the AI was working, I believe. And then, I think I cleaned up the road a bit. And finally being able to get back into the swing of things. A lot of the guests from weddings and whatever have went back, and I got a little more time, so I started again with starting to try to clean things up because yeah, I got way too many assets in here, and so I got rid of the house, and now I'm on to the barn, and on to the barn blueprints. So we're looking at barn 1, and I'm going to slowly get rid of these guys here. And yeah. And so it's been a while, so I'll just go over what I'm kind of doing from here because there's a bunch of kits here that I gotta narrow down. So kind of show you guys an example. Put up an extra content window here. So I take barn 1 and I'd bring it over into architecture buildings here because it's it's a building. Well, that's what it is. And see how this is an actor. This is a static mesh object. Just go. Open this guy up here. Close this. That's just the stuff we're working on here. Keep things small. Preparing some skins. Like I said, I got really down some size and some stuff, and now I'll make things run a little bit quicker. So we got this barn, and we have this barn. And you look, they're practically identical because there's literally a drag and drop copy. So I'll do an example of that. I will drag this barn and I'll copy it here. Now, in this, we're going to rename it just barn 2, no underscore, stuff like that. We'll save the underscore for when there's multiple versions of barn 2 that are in the world. So barn 2 underscore 2 would mean that's the second barn of barn type 2, right? And then what I would do is I would open this guy up, and then I'd go into class settings, and I'd switch this guy from actor to static mesh actor. And I'd save that. Now this guy is the same as this guy, but it's a static mesh. Do my thumbnail there. And now I'm just going to quickly go into the next portion of this. Once I have the mesh copied over, I can delete them, giving us space. So there is one reference of this guy somewhere. So we're going to replace this reference with barn 2. Replace reference. So everywhere there's barn 2, this barn's going to be. Alright. But I don't want to just end there. Unfortunately. First, I go to the viewport. I kind of want to rename a lot of these things. So I was just clicking down and you see what these are. This is the main beam, support beam, and I realized there's a main beam here. And there wasn't one on this side, so I made a new one. You know what I mean? And then these are the A-frames. And this is front extension support. And we could do copy this. We could paste this here. What we call this front extension post. This is a post. And then we would go so forth and so on. Control C. And this would be support 2. And continue all that way until everything sadly is named. But after that tediousness, which I'm not going to do on screen, just to go over with you guys, just doing a quick kind of show, then I would also go into the separate things. So we have beam 1 here. We would open up beam 1, maybe even check where beam 1 is, and then or we would grab here and check where beam 1 is. And in here we go back to our find and home assets. This is a beam, so it's going to be a static mesh. Scattered material. Do I have columns and beams? I do have columns. But these are more like actual interior column, architectural columns, where this is just a piece of wood. I think I'm going to just do scattered items, lumber. Alright, copy this here. And actually just call it F2 lumber 2. Another piece of lumber. Look, it's just another actual piece of lumber. So now we go back to this barn. I'd want to switch this to lumber 2. Save. I can actually take beam 1 out now, and it should have a bunch of references. I'm actually going to change this for lumber 2. And replace all those references with lumber 2. And boom, one more thing removed, right? But we're not done with lumber 2 now, right? We're gonna just keep going down the rabbit hole. Now we got this lumber piece, but we have this. So I want to click here, and I want to search for that. Now we have this material instance, barn structure. So barn structure sounds like it's for a lot of items. Anything to do with the barn structure. So we're going to go to home, materials, scattered items, I guess, or it could be architecture, wood walls, multiple objects, and we could put a copy of this here. We call this F2 barn structure. We call it material instance, so we know it's ours. Yeah, this barn structure, and this barn structure has master barns. So we just keep down this rabbit hole. So we're going to click here. I'm pretty sure this is it here, so we're going to click off that so we know that it's the right one. We're going to search to it. We have Master of Barns. We're going to open this up. Now, blend sharpness, color, scalar value. Look at this. Looks like it blends a couple of things together. So we're going to go to our materials, our master materials, and we have a blend layer. You can see ours is a little bit more sophisticated. And what I'll do for ease of use is we will create a material instance and open that up. And we'll see here 2-layer blend. We got a mask. We got a multi-mask. This might be too much. Two colors. This looks more like it. Could be something like 2 colors. Let's create a material instance. Blend. Color A, color B. It has the materials. Let's go back to barn instance. Blend biased. Color brightness. We actually don't even have any of this. This is always none. color mask. So it looks like it takes the color mask and it blends it into these, which I think this could do. Alrighty. Really take a base color and we could blend it in with the color mask and stuff like that. It's a different type of mask. What we'll call it, we'll close this, we'll keep this for now. We'll call it simple blend. Cancel. Wait. No. And so we have this master. We'll copy it here. We'll delete the 2 instances we made. And we'll call this simple blend. With mask. Two. It's a simple blend with a mask. Super simple. And we'll take this guy and we'll do simple blend with mask. And boom, that guy's done. But now we still have these guys. So again, just like before, we're going to click somewhere here. And we're going to go here to this door facade. Door facade. There's a bunch of different door facades, and it looks door facade 1, mask 3. I do not see any difference, just a white base. So here we'll go finding home to our textures. We'll go to white. And there is no white. So we'll do surfaces, copy here, white. Base. So we there we go. White base color. And here we'll do white. Did I spell white wrong? white underscore base. White underscore base. There you go. And then we need to click on this again, and we need to find this here. We have our barn structure, barn 1, and now we're making sure that there's not like barn 1, barn 2, barn 3, or like sometimes there's different walls or there's worn. Looks like it just goes to barn and then it just goes to gutters and stuff. So it's just, you're just dealing with this one barn thing. Architecture, floors, multi-objects. And we're dealing with these three here. We're going to drag these in, copy here. And we'll just be calling these just straight up barn. Barn structure, just barn. And did we save ambient occlusion for these guys? So what is this? This is mask map. So it's clean, and this guy here is just mask map. So we'll actually just do that. Mask map. Keep it simple. This here will be barn. Base color. And this will be barn normal. Boom. Super simple. Then we'll go back to this guy. And we'll do again barn base color. Got that guy. Barn normal. And barn mask map. Boom. And the thing is still the same. We can save it. And our lumber is still the same. Oh, well, we need to attach this. And this is using barn structure. Now we know that there's mainly just barn, so let's go back here to our materials, material architecture, multiple objects. We just got our barn here. We'll just call it barn. Now we got our, now we know it's our barn. We have this all fixed up. Again, we could actually go back and slowly go through these things. So we shouldn't need these textures anymore. So we're going to hit delete. Right? These are meant for different things. So we're going to hit delete on just one. And we're going to switch this with barn underscore base color. Replace. And save. Delete this, and we replace with barn underscore normal. Replace. In this one, at least, we delete this, and we do barn underscore mask map. Replace. You can save. And now we could go back to materials, And again, we had our barn structure here, and we could remove our barn structure, which is used for a lot of things, but we are going to just use barn underscore im, replace, save. And then we have our master barns here, which we actually did as well. And this will be just simple blend with mask, replace. So when we go back to barn blueprints, we have our barns gone, so we go to finding home, static meshes, architecture. We're doing buildings, static meshes. Oh, this is actually not a static mesh that we're doing. Environments, shared, architecture, buildings, right? Because it's the thing. We go into our barn here. Our first thing was our lumber 2. We open up our lumber 2, and we have our barn here. And again, we've gone through our material. We got our material instance with our things here, all set up the way we like it, so that's good. We need to make sure this is nanited. So we're going to change this to nanite. We're going to save that. So we want to be as efficient as possible. So once that's saved to nanite, now we have this lumber fully done. That lumber is done. It's fully nanited. It is good to go. Now, sometimes you'll have stuff like this where it's the same thing. Ledger, right? And so all of a sudden, we have lumber 2 already set up and nanited for these 3 things. So it makes it a little bit quicker, right? But now we would do the same thing for this frame. We have this A-frame. And we would then do the same thing. We would click down here. We would search this A-frame. We're just going to do this last one here. Just because you guys will pretty much get the point. And so this is just a regular A. Maybe this will be an A-frame too, but I don't know if that's really an A-frame. We're going to go, this is a static mesh. Let's go to static meshes. This is definitely architecture. I believe it's not just a lumber. Door frames. Architecture. I will just do building frame. Here are windows. There could be a ton of building frames, right? And we're going to just copy here. We'll change this to an A frame type A. I don't need to put static mesh because we can hover and see that's static mesh. So it's frame type A. And again, right away this time, I'm going to just quickly add that it's a static mesh. Sometimes you can add like physics materials and other stuff in here at the same time and like check your collisions and stuff. But right now, like I said, we're doing just the base, right? And then now that we have that done, we could save this frame. So we want to delete this guy. Type A, which is only the one. Replace. So all of the barns now are replaced with that A-frame. We're gonna save that. Right. And then did we delete it? Yeah, we closed it. We're gonna search here. And we're gonna search it. Another thing you could do is you could just hit the back button up here and it'll go back to where we were. And so for us though, we do want to go back to materials, and we want to go to some architecture, interior structures. It looks like we'll put that here, and we'll put framing. So we'll copy this here, F2, interior frames. This is just the only one that I know of so far. It's the first one we're using. And so we'll get a better look also when we delete this to see what it's attached to. It's full out barns and just really this A-frame, so it's really just A-frame. So it's not multiple objects because those barns have the A-frame in it. So I'm actually going to delete this. So I don't think we've done anything with this. I go back out here and do what do we do for static meshes? We called it architecture, building frames, so we'll do the same. Materials, architecture, building frames, and we're going to then copy this here. Frame type A, material instance. Yeah, we're gonna see that we're gonna have these guys here, and it looks this is already done, so we won't have to do that. And now we can delete this, and this, and the A-frame and the A-frame. These three buildings will be replaced with frame save. Deleted it. A mistake. Check materials. It's just probably clicking too much or too fast. A-frame. And so we got, as you see, frame type A is there. We got our nice crosses and everything set up there. Our static mesh is there. So now we gotta finish this. And it looks like we're just using our white base color here. But we will need to change these guys and get rid of these guys that we had already. And we're gonna go for the structure 2 interior. And so for that, we'd go here, textures, and we would go to architecture, building frames, and we would get building frame interior 2, building frame interior 2, building frame interior 2. These are walls, and this is interior 1. And we'll leave those for now. We'll copy these here. There's roofs and wall normals. So this is frame A. And we've been calling this a mask map. We can almost just copy and paste this a little bit quicker. This is base color. And this is normal. So how I was doing that, I was hitting F2 to get into this, to rename it. F2 is V, Control C. You know, V Control C to copy, and then hit Control V to paste, and I'll just rename it. So nice, quick and fast, dirty and easy there. We want this guy, and we want frame type A base color, and sometimes it's easier to just go right click, shift right click right here, shift right click, shift left click, shift left click, and you can see that this says normal, so we know we want the normal here, and this says roughness and occlusion, so we want that there. We can just save that, and again we already have our simple blend with mask there, so we just come in here and check, and that looks like the way it was before. You can see this hasn't changed at all, so yeah, that's the way his material is, and it's done. So we close that, find it home, and I shouldn't have closed this over and over again, but we would go to shared, architecture, buildings, and then dive back into this guy, and yeah, so we would move on to the next thing, right? So that means all the A-frames would be done here, but we still have structure, and we have, tons of different things, and I go through that, obviously, fixing and cleaning everything up, making sure everything is nanited and stuff like that. And like I said, now I know this mesh is a static mesh, getting rid of everything that's what I was doing on Monday, and I finished off the atmospheric house, which is pretty big. It's one of the kind of first houses we want to kind of do and bring in. And so yeah, we'll get back to where we were. So we were in levels, we were in game menu, game lobby menu, this might take a second to boot up. It's pretty big. And so what we were working on this map is the AI and spawning groups of actors within the area. So we have our little AI guy here. That's what we were working on last. And we have this town here. And we want to be able to remove and add this entire town. The other thing we were looking at is, see, add some stubble on this. Removed all the grass and everything like that. So it's all nice and smooth, these roads here. You know what I mean? Because we added like a mud kind of terrain and stuff like that. So let's just hit the play button and give you a look-see at that, and hopefully everything will work after the changes and stuff we've done. It's always good to test and see that there's no errors and stuff. I also just want to get a feel for the way things look. because I want to know if this area is actually barren with no trees. Might add some trees there. Maybe I don't add any trees there. Want to get the feel as if this is one of the starting areas. I want to know what we have here. I think I could we'll keep this tree here for now. Fell down. So those trees are pretty good. Looks pretty. See some popping. So I might need to increase the area in which. So I'm loading up more landscape there. That was the leg. And see, because I'm loading in those barns and everything off in the distance. So I might actually want some trees here. And I think I can see some pop-in. I might want to kind of change the culling distance. Increase a little bit. Ugh. I gotta fix this. Back up to 60 frames, eh? Must have been loading and unloading something there. That's fine. Not too sure what's up with the body sometimes. Okay, there is a slight increased shuffle sprint. Yeah, might have added the grass here too, where it kind of goes in. And so, if you look here, I can hit this guy. And he can hit me. He's taking some big damage. And I killed the zombie. A lot of aggression, took some serious damage there. Right? But we also were working on spawning and unspawning big sections of areas depending on how close you were. So, we go over here. We might aggro this guy. I might stay behind him. Oh, we aggroed him. He's gonna kill me, I think. I don't think I can take this guy on with just my fists. Alright. So we went into this area, and since we're in this area, it spawned. But we're out, it despawns. In, spawns, out, despawns. That's one of the things that we're working on. And again, the way we would set it up is that the player can't see this happening. We don't want pop-in. But when it's despawned, it's just not loading as much. And you can see that there's houses super far into the distance. And we just don't want to see those. And today we might try to work on some chest stuff. Oh yeah, melee stun lock. Twister. Great for stun lock. Alright. Some enemies might not be able to be stun locked. Okay, he's working on that. That's something. It's just the attack animation, I guess. So obviously, we wouldn't want. Can I click on this? Test farm. We want it obviously because the test farm is for these farms here. Obviously, we would want it. You know what I mean? Within this farm area name. So if we're outside this range, it would despawn, so forth and so forth. Which again, I'm thinking we would want to maybe increase that for sure. These are all just individual houses. So in this grid, we would create another subfolder and call it spawners. And call it not even test small count farm at this point. Oh, it is a test small count farm. We might even just rename it to the actual thing. So there's two. There's remove hitbox and there's visibility hitbox. Now, once you hit the visibility hitbox, which will look here, probably needs to be more like 20,000 by 20,000. And this probably needs to be at least 1,000. Even then, if you're coming down this road, those houses are gonna pop in. So maybe 30,000 by 30,000. Ooh, that might be too far. Do 25. So yeah, you're coming up this road and then you hit it. Let's just change this to 2,000. 2,500. 2,500. Again, you could be flying above this and then you have some sort of thing, but you're coming around the corner and that will pop up. Once we hit here, those buildings would load in. It's pretty good almost. And it's just due to the lack of trees, really. That way, if you're like whipping through in a car, you're still gonna hit it. Well, I think I think we gotta do 30,000 by 30,000. Once you hit here, you spawn the visible buildings. It's just the visible buildings. I think that's what's needed. Come up this row here. It's pretty small. And then the buildings kind of load in. But yeah. Alright. So with the visible buildings, these buildings now load in and out depending on if the character or if a character is within this. Let me just double check if a character is in this. It is as long as it has a player tag. So yeah, any character that has a player tag, it will spawn and despawn. And then the remove hitbox, if a player character hits the remove hitbox, it's going to get the corresponding static meshes and spawn the corresponding blueprint actor classes. Okay, and those will be static mesh actors as well. No, they'll be actual actor classes. Okay. All right, and so for now, this barn is fine. Oh, the trees. Right. We want to change the trees. So we could actually just highlight all of those trees. Oh, so it's not clicking them. We want to actually just highlight them. We're going to go down to culling. So the cull distance right now is at 20,000. And we have a soft start culling at 16,000. So if it's we want to start culling then at 30,000. Oh, 30,000. And our soft will be probably like 25,000. A little bit better. Obviously there's some areas like here where yeah, I think it's kind of hard to argue that. Like, you're gonna get some pop in. That's pretty crazy distance, I think. So these should always be spawned. And to even test now, we're at like run really far out. But so we're not gonna test. You know what? Why not? We'll do a full test here. Do a look around. It takes a bit to log in right now, so do a full test. When I'm testing, oh, it's gonna lag out, I think, too, until we start doing this to more and more of the map. Give things time to load up here. You can see the building off in the distance. I don't know if I want to see that. So there's no trees loaded yet. We did save it, right? Interesting. It shouldn't be. These trees should have loaded in by now. Yeah, because this is automatically like saved, right? I don't think I set any of the culling distance within the trees themselves. Okay. Yeah, so I didn't set any cull distance in the trees themselves. So the culling should only be happening, from my knowledge, from how we set, as you physically see in here, the way we set this. So the other thing is we could save all, but that's could take. We'll try it. Yeah, that's quicker than I thought. Okay, and that might fix that issue. All right. Other thing is that you want to work on this here. We do want to go to landscape, and we want to go to paint, and we want to go to mud or dirt, essentially. And we want to have this dirt in here, because this is more like a walked area here. This is more used. You don't want grass in here now. If it's a simple fact I didn't want grass in here, I could have also just done like remove procedural stuff, but I think it's also that we want it like it's like a gravel kind of area, like it's an interior kind of barn. Normally don't have plants and grass and stuff growing outside these kind of things. So we'll go back to the thing here. We'll click this. We'll just do visibility for a sec, and as you can see, there's a little bit of grass there. So we'll go back to landscape paint. Just get that there. We'll go back to selection here. This is where we might have some cow stuff. So we will, what we would do, yeah, we're gonna go to landscape, and again, we're gonna get around here. Kind of say this is like a used area here. Barn here, a little cow barn. There we go. A little shed. And we're going to go back to selection. We're going to make this not visible. This could be visible now. And we're going to make this not visible. I'm just gonna make sure that guy's good. so we can make this guy visible again. Pretty simple, just like a dot. But looks like we have some area in here that we need to get. There we go. Now these two, and even really this area, I might have needed to leave. And we might need to even bring the brush size down. So. These are all visible. Finding home. Environments. Homestead. Farmhouse. Static mesh factor. I think I'm going to go to content browser, browser 3, finding home. We're going to go to environmental assets, shared props, architecture, buildings, and we're going to take the farmhouse and we're going to move it here. And then we're just going to go back out to environmental assets, or just finding home in general, I think. Content. We're just going to go to finding home. We're going to fix up redirectors. Because there's a couple levels that use that barn house. And those levels will now be looking for that barn house, but we have moved that barn house. So we want to make sure we fix up redirectors and save all. Right? So it's tracking that barn house has moved. Alright, we're going to close this. So, don't get me wrong. This here is a great barn. Great barn. I picked up this asset because it has some pretty cool barn assets. But we need an actual house here. So this is why I'm doing this. I need to get rid of this barn, to be honest. We got a cow barn. We got a storage barn. We got another storage barn. We have another storage barn. We need to get rid of this for an actual house. We need a house here. And so, of course, we have our spawners here. We have this guy, and it's using this barn. So delete that. So we should be able to delete this barn now. There we go. Now finding home, environmental assets, shared, architecture, buildings. Now we have this farmhouse, and we're gonna have to. This is just a basic kind of farmhouse. So we have our first farmhouse, and we're gonna be able to edit it as we need. We might want to kind of finish it. Just realized this is actually his road here. So first we'll go foliage, we'll select. These three guys, kind of move them down here. Don't necessarily need to get rid of any more foliage, we just don't want it. Or we might need to stick some houses. So we go back to selection mode. I'm actually gonna move this guy out and this guy over. And we're gonna rotate this guy. Ooh. So never thought about that. So we're already going to be scrapping this, duplicating this, and calling it farmhouse 2. And bringing farmhouse 2 in here. Main porch area. So we're gonna rotate this guy. So the back is back there. Can't have the camera at like literal 18 here. Just too much. So there is a small tree there. Has to be in front of the small tree. And so now we're going to go to landscape mode. We got the mud selected. And we are just going to kind of get around here. Again, we're going to go back to selection mode. We're going to put this farmhouse, throw this into buildings, hide the farmhouse, landscape mode, just make sure we get in around here. So the interesting thing that I was looking at here is the water. But Remove procedural also. We'll go into selection and we can make that house visible again. There we go. We got this like farmhouse. We're gonna go into foliage here. Select that. So you see this is here. This is somehow like a group of objects. And that's why when I move this, it's not actually going to move the tree. And this is over here. It's also another group of objects. That's an individual tree. That's an individual tree. So we might have to just move this guy out of the way. And since we can't really move that, do selection and just kind of move this guy back and over. Kind of like that. Now we got it away from this tree here. Of course, now we have this lake here. Okay, that's as close as I dare to get that. I guess not. Looks like we could probably move it that way and move it up. There we go. And I might just have to go into landscape, sculpting, and just flatten or smooth. Really? Just kind of flatten it up here a little bit. There we go. Alright, now where are those other trees? They're here and here. What? So we want to go to foliage. Kind of want this guy at the window. And we want this guy at this window. Right. Close. There we go. We got our farmhouse. We look here. We could actually go back to our foliage. We go to our paint here. Oh no, it's actually select landscape paint. We go back to our grass. We could go back to our grass. We get this grass back in here for now. Cover this all in. Just quickly for now. There we go. We're gonna go to our selection here. I think we really just want this big old storage shed. Kind of along the side of the fence here. And along the side of the road. And this big storage shed there. I think we're gonna have this guy kind of just straight on back. The fuel's a little bit away from the road and the other barns and stuff, and this is where the fuel will be kept. I think that makes sense. This is just a quick extra storage shed. Cows in here. It's a nice little cow farm, blocked off. You know what I mean? Nice, nice, nice. Oh, that being said, we're gonna have to dive back to the landscape layer. I think there was certain things. That's fine here. But for instance here we go to sculpt, and we want to kind of flatten this out a bit. We go to paint. We want to bring this brush down a bit. We do want to go to like a mud. And we're gonna try to get from the house a little trail here. There we go. Now we did the line up on this side, so we're going to go back to the sculpt. We got the flatten tool. We're going to come in from about this side, and we're going to flatten it. Might even bring the brush size up a bit. Again, grab it here and just come in and kind of flatten. And then we're going to just get the smooth tool, bring the brush down a bit here, and we're just going to smooth this out. Alright, now we got it all smoothed out. Now we're going to go to back to selection. We're going to select this. We're going to hide this landscape. We're going to want to paint mud. I think the pebbles kind of add to the barn. I don't think I will take away the pebbles from this guy. Just an open kind of storage area. Seems pretty flat. It's pretty nice in there. Perfect. But we also now need to do this area here. There we go. And we go selection, we can make this up visible again. And we go landscape. And what we want to do is have kind of path go into there. Path coming out here a bit out of the doors long, and then you can see that it just kind of curves in here. Path that goes straight really across to the back door. Beside the house, it's kind of like an open area from right where this gate is. That's where they're gonna probably park. Probably come in their park. Oh, another kind of like little parking spot there. door here. And then just kind of just in case they didn't want to go through the whole yard. There we go. Selection. There we go. Got some sort of landscaping done for this kind of area. And yeah. Yes. So we'd open up this house here. Viewport. In this case here, we would be removing these basement walls. And with that, we don't need these here either. Because we can't have a basement for this guy. Because if we did, it would just go into water. Analyze this. Can I even see the concrete there? No, I can't. I see a little here. So kind of fix that up. And we don't need these ceilings here. Don't mind this over budget, it's just virtual memory because there's so many textures that are loading in. That's not normally, you won't see that in like game or something. Just an engine thing. I could do stuff to remove that. I guess I can go over that now. If you want to remove that, it's R dot render or streaming dot pool size, yeah, equals like, I want to say 3,000. Gone. So it means like my memory card has now access to use about 3,000 megabytes or kilobytes of space for holding textures, pretty much. Which automatically used or something because my textures are all blurred. So if I close the program and come back, my textures won't look so garbage. Like, it's because my camera's on like 3. Do I need to just go to 1? Is it just... Oh, I was actually... There we go. Okay, there's nothing here. There's some roof still. Gotta get rid of Alright. So, looks like all that roofing and everything's done. So I just gotta kind of fill in the floor here. No door here. Wall here is fine. We get these two floor meshes, we duplicate them, bring them over. There we go. And now that there's no basement, what I want to do probably is bring this guy back and up. Back and up. Back and up. That way it's kind of like flush there. This guy should go as well. Back and up. There we go. Bring this guy out. Seems, yeah, I gotta get this all tight, looking good. I guess I'll have to check. What we'll do is we'll get one of these in here right now. Duplicate. Window. Frame. Window frame. Small window single frame. What about just window single open? So on the outside there, and if we bring this in, it is too fat. Oh, shows you. Why is it so tall as well? It's too fat. That's what I was wondering. So these have to be out. But the floor still could be with it. Triple window. Window. Double window would be good enough, I guess. That's smooth. That's smooth. So that's kind of how it has to be. So this guy has to be out here. See if I could actually just slide all these down. And there we go. And this guy's not too much of a big deal because we can't see him really. So we have these porch walls anyway. has to be here. I think this is where we're gonna have some sort of problem as well. There's nothing I could do about it because there's gonna be a gap here. So there's gotta be a corner asset. So I hit duplicate on this guy. Basement wall corner. Corner. I'll do wall, corner. I see. So that's what he's using here. In my case, I'd like to rotate this guy, try 0 or 180. Duplicate this guy. Exterior. Exterior. Wall corner. And interior. Interior. We might actually have to look here. So we go finding home, static meshes, architecture, walls. Where is this? This is support beams and stuff. Okay. Oops. Minimize these. Architecture. There is corner wall patches. Even. Can't even see this. But for some reason he didn't do anything for exterior. Because usually there is actual corner siding pieces. It's actually not a corner panel. And let's see if we just doesn't really make sense. But either way, what we'd be doing is trying to finish up this house here, and that's what I'm trying to do. It is Tuesday, right, guys? So Tuesday is pretty much the end of the week for us until Sunday. So I'll try to finish off this house here. Look inside. You got this like living room kind of area, bathroom. Bedroom. So, yeah. Kitchen. This could be kitchen, dining room, bathroom, bedroom. This could be definitely another bedroom and living room area here. Yeah, we have the door here or something. Just bedroom here. Might even be able to take out the upstairs here and just start finishing the roof, so it's just like a small house. And then what we were working on is once we get the house done, we're gonna convert the house into a static mesh. With the doors and stuff, and get a static mesh version. And we're gonna get a blueprint version, a static mesh version of each of these guys. And so what happens is when we walk into this square here, it will replace all the static mesh versions of these for actual blueprints that we could actually interact with. And then the blueprints themselves will have like a little hitbox if the player gets too far. Um, or maybe we even do it with this here. If the player gets too far, delete the blueprints and re-add the static meshes. Just so it saves time and space, and there's not like a bunch of stuff that's loaded all the time. Since it's instance, the player won't notice that it will get rid of it right away. And then we could continue on once we get this area kind of done. This is a pretty good blank starting area, and then we could move on to the next section. And when we get all this inputted, as you can see, we're going to try to keep it like this. So we'll open up grid 0 x maybe 1y or 1x0y, and we just move along the coast there until we have it all kind of sorted out, and adding stuff along the way. What we might do as well next week is getting into adding some items and stuff that you could loot, so we could actually make this zombie cooler, add more of him, and maybe just generic kind of like cows or chickens and stuff like that as well. Get some more interaction, more AI and stuff like that in here. This is pretty high up, isn't it? This shouldn't be water. Oh, this is actually a landscape that's not done. And this is like stuff that we'll have to do. I'll go around and making sure that we don't have any areas like that just didn't get hit. Alright, but I don't want you guys to painfully watch me struggle with this house any further. It is pretty much 11 o'clock. I'd like to thank you guys all for coming to stream, and I'll see you guys next time. I hit the selection tool actually. And I'll be saving it here. Alright, ciao.